This month at Element Church, we're studying the cost of discipleship. We're taking each and every week to look at the book of Luke and what Jesus says a disciple is. Who better than to look at what a disciple is than Jesus, the one who said, "Go and make disciples." If we're going to make disciples of people, we got to know what a disciple is. And there's a cost to it. And so there's a cost to living on mission of making disciples that Jesus calls us to. And this past week we looked at Luke chapter 10, where he sent out the 72, two by two. And so I want to zero in just a couple minutes now on one verse there. And Jesus gives specific instructions on how to make disciples and how to go about doing that. And I think there's a few of that. All of them are really key for us. And I want to zero in on one verse and what it means for us here in New Jersey at Element Church. Luke chapter 10 verse 4 says, "Carry no money bag, no knapsack, no sandals, and greet no one on the road." What is Jesus saying here? Like some of those words don't make sense. We don't carry around a money bag or a knapsack. Maybe you can insert fanny pack or something like that there. What Jesus is saying is trust me for everything. Will you trust Jesus for your everything, for your finances, for your resources? In the ancient days, they would carry around bags that would carry their money. They would carry around bags that carried their provisions. It's interesting that he kind of bunches money bags and knapsacks together. If he's telling people not to make money, probably the first question they're going to ask is, where are my provisions going to come from? How am I going to eat? How am I going to sleep? And so Jesus is saying, trust me with those things. Trust me with your finances. Trust me with resources. Trust me for your provisions. When you're making disciples, when you're living life on mission with a group of people, you're going to refocus where your resources go. You're going to refocus your provisions. You're going to start to share all that you have. You're going to start to have people over for dinner more. You're going to start to do things like that that's going to cost you financially. And Jesus says, trust me with those things. Don't worry about those things. Don't make career moves based on how much money you make. Make career moves based on the call God has on you and what he wants you to do as far as making disciples goes. And Jesus also says here, so he says, don't carry money bags, don't carry knapsacks, and don't carry sandals. What does that mean? Well, in ancient times, they would walk long distances, and so they would carry with them extra pair of sandals to their original pair would break. And so for us, what does that mean for us? We don't really walk in sandals. Hopefully sometime soon the weather warm up and we can start wearing sandals more. But what Jesus is saying is don't live with excess. You don't need excess. And for us, it's like we don't need that extra car. We don't need that extra material good in our house. We don't need all the extras. We don't need extra house, more house than we could take. And so Jesus is saying, let's focus everything on the mission. Let's identify with the people that we're ministering to the best way that we can. Let's not live above our means. And then he says no distractions. He literally says here, greet no one on the road. And really what he's saying is don't be distracted on the mission. Don't get off focus. In ancient days when they're traveling long distances on the road, they would meet lots of people and talk about rabbit trails. They would typically get distracted and go a different way for a season to be with this group of people. And Jesus is saying, don't do that. Focus on the goal that I have for you. Focus on the mission that I have for you. He's giving these people towns and specific places to go to, and he wants us to focus and zero in on those things. And so what is God calling you to? He wants you to focus all of your energy, all of your financial resources, all your provisions, everything he's given you on that goal, on that mission of making disciples. I think the one area we struggle with most here in New Jersey, in central New Jersey, is our time. We get distracted, as that last phrase. We let other people distract us, other things, other tasks distract us. We get distracted by our career. We get distracted by people in our life. That takes us off focus, off mission. So what is God calling you to? Who is a better word? Who is God calling you to make disciples of? How are you putting all of your resources, all of your provisions, all of your stuff, all of your time into that mission? That's a challenge for today that we have to think through. Who is God calling you to make disciples of? I would encourage you to take some time this week to just pray and ask God, who is it that I'm to make disciples of? And then as God begins to reveal that to you, have discussions with your family, with your spouse, with your kids, with your parents, with your friends, those in your missional community, and begin to talk about who God's calling you to, and talk about how you can put all of your energy, all of your time, all of your resources into seeing disciples made in the area God's called you to. It'll change everything. It'll change the way you live. And that's the cost of discipleship that Jesus has called us to.